Maybe you've been gaming too much, perhaps your dog was trying to play some Fortnite while you weren't home, or your child was a little bit hungry. Whatever the reason is, your PS5 DualSense controller thumbsticks are destroyed and need to be replaced. How's it going, everybody? My name's Eric, and in this video, we're going to do that. Replace the PS5 DualSense thumbsticks. As a disclaimer, this fix will not fix joystick drift. It will only fix your thumbsticks that need to be repaired or replaced. As you can see, this one has completely came off. This one has been chewed a little bit, and we're gonna put some brand new ones on. It's not a difficult repair. There are kits on Amazon that come with the required tools to make it even easier, and I will put links to those in the description. It'll save you some money from having to buy a new remote, or it will keep your old remote out of the trash. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing, and let's get into the repair. So you have two choices of thumbsticks. You can install a PS5 thumbstick over here, which is a little bit more gritty, or if you prefer the PS4 style, you can install the PS4 thumbsticks on the PS5. It works perfectly fine. I will put links to both of them in the description for your convenience. Now we have to separate this black piece of plastic from the white piece of plastic on the controller. The best way to do this, I found, is to take your prying tool, pry in between the two pieces of plastic, separating them like that. Then you're gonna take something like a playing card or the little screwdriver that they gave you and push it in between those two pieces of plastic, holding it open like that. That gives you a little bit more of a gap over here. You're gonna go with your prying tool at this corner here, and it should allow you to get it off like that. Now, if we try to do it to the other side, you may or may not be able to pry it off, but if you take your little screwdriver or spacer thing, put it on the other side, it pulls the little piece of black plastic away from the white plastic enough. It gives you a tiny little gap between here to make it just a little easier to fit your pry tool in to get this piece of plastic out. Once these two little corners are removed, you're going to lift up. A couple more clips might release, and then you're gonna have to lift the little holes above the joystick, pull towards you, and get these little points of the plastic off. Now you're going to take your prying tool, you're going to press it between the R1 and the R2 buttons, and you're just going to pull up a little bit, and the R1 should go flying. Same thing on the L side, push down, pry up. From the middle, it releases those two buttons. Go find them if they flew off and put them to the side. That exposes two Phillips head screws up here that we're going to have to take off, lefty-loosey. And there's also two screws from the first piece of plastic that we removed at the bottom that we're gonna have to take out. Once all four of those screws are out, we're gonna pry up this clip over here on the left while we're separating the controller with our left hand. So that dislodges that clip, and we're gonna do the same thing on the right. Once those clips are out, your controller is starting to separate. You can grab the back shell and start pulling it. It'll separate from the front shell. There are a couple of clips between the two that should start to release. You're gonna work it off from the top. These little tabs can get stuck on buttons up here, so do be aware of that when you're pulling it off, and you can kind of wiggle it and move it around accordingly. Now we've got the bare back controller. We're gonna grab the battery and unplug it right there, pull straight out. Then there's a ribbon cable connector down here. The one on the left side, we're gonna have to take it out. You can take your screwdriver or your prying tool and pry up on the two little tabs on the side, or you can grab it with your finger and pull it. All you're doing is removing the ribbon cable. You're not removing this piece here. And then you're gonna take out one Phillips head screw that's holding in the battery holder. Once that screw is out, you can lift the entire battery holder. You'll see this piece in the ribbon cable that you removed will come out. Now there's four more ribbon cables that you have to take out. The first one's up here on the top. There's two little tabs. We can work it out with our prying tool or with our screwdriver. I'm just going to walk it a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, and then that ribbon cable is out. We got to take off the other ribbon cable on the bottom here. Do that with an upward force or just by grabbing it and pulling it from the tab. And these two other tab ribbon cables, you can grab them. There's a very good grip, and then pull them straight out. Now I'm going to push up on the joysticks and rotate the board out towards me. You have to be careful because of these soldered on wires to the vibration motors. Be careful of those, and you're just going to rotate the joysticks out like that. Just pull straight up on the damaged ones. They should pop right off. Grab your replacements. There is a slight difference in the way that the oval is, so you're gonna match that up to the actual joystick mechanism. You may have to rotate it, and then you're going to press it on. They should fit very snugly when you got them in the right position. Now we're going to just do the opposite of what we did to get here. Rotate that board back in. Be sure to move all of the cables out of the way. This little bottom one here likes to get in the way, so we're just gonna lift the board up, grab our screwdriver, pull that cable up and out, and then this one in the top likes to get in the way, so we're gonna do the same thing. And then if you lift the controller up, you should be able to press the joysticks through the holes and get it seated back properly where it was. Once that board is seated correctly, we're going to reinstall the 4 ribbon cables that we took out. The one here at the top, you just are going to line it up, and then I'm going to walk it in with a little bit of pressure on one side, a little bit of pressure on the other side, a little bit of pressure on one side, until that line is lined up with that connector. Now we're gonna grab this one on the side here and push that in. You can wiggle it back and forth to get it to rock in a little bit easier than just going straight in. And the little hanging outside tabs are going to lay flush with the connector when it's all the way in. You're gonna have to do the same thing to the other side. Grab the connector, get it in, kind of seesaw it in. Everything looks lined up. And then this bottom connector, line it up. You may be able to press it in by hand. It's got a nice strong tab on it. Now we're gonna take that battery tray, drop it in. These little feet over here will be over the vibration motor cables, the way that it's routed. And then we'll reinstall that screw righty-tighty. And then don't forget to reinstall this one little connector that we took out. If you can't push it in by hand, you can press it in side by side with your screwdriver. Then you're gonna grab your battery. The connector has the holes a little bit shorter at the top, and that's how you're going to press it into the battery connector. So make sure that is correctly lined up. You can press that connector right in, and then the battery cables will bend and rest underneath this little plastic hook, and the battery will rest back into the little cradle. There's no adhesive on it, which is really, really nice. Now we're gonna take the back cover. You're going to go from the triggers first. You're gonna rest that over there. Make sure that clearance is okay. Get those holes lined up with the screws, and then you should be able to press it down. It will start to click into place. There's some tabs here, some tabs on the sides, and they should lay very flush. Then you're going to take the 4 screws that we took out earlier. They're all the same size, and you're going to reinstall them in the 4 screw slots, righty-tighty this time. Once those 4 screws are back in, you're going to reinstall your R1 and your R2 triggers. It's pretty self-explanatory. The R1 lines up with the text of the R2. You get the clips lined up. It should seat in there very nicely, and then you just press it down and it clicks back into place. Beautiful design by Sony. Same thing with the L1. Press it in. And last but not least, this plastic shell. You're gonna take the pointed part first, push that under, bring it over the thumbsticks, pull it towards you, rest that into place, pull these back. They should all seat very nicely. Press down on the middle and it should go back together. Your thumbsticks are now replaced. You can get back to gaming without your fingers bleeding. Again, I will put links to the parts in the description for your convenience. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.